Hey guys, it's Graham. Just a quick update, real quick, because I'm already later than I should be getting to work. Thought I'd just make an update about work. It's interesting, I've talked to a lot of guys and seen a lot of videos, and folks are having trouble with work lately and being afraid that, their coworkers are going to, or a boss or whatever, are going to find them on YouTube. And, some guys are deleting their channel. And that makes me sad that, they work in an industry where they have to do that and they have to fear that. I think it makes me feel pretty blessed because it's not something that I worry about. If my coworkers find it, they find it. I don't care. They all know anyway. And my boss knows that I'm trans. So I just feel really fortunate, and I think a big part of that is living here in the Bay Area. So I don't want anybody to think I'm taking it for granted. I'm not. But I do, it just makes me sad that people will delete kind of a video log of themselves and, essentially make all that go away because they're afraid and because of what it could have as far as their job. I understand it, but it still makes me sad. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit and also just talk about work. I work at a college campus. I manage a career center. And if you want to find us, it's the Alameda One-Stop Career Center, Alameda, California. I'm sure you can Google it, and we have a webpage. But anyway, this is it. This is how I dress every day. I don't always wear a coat, but today we have a reporter coming because the job market sucks right now. And so we have a reporter coming from the local paper to do a little story on us. And that'll be interesting. I'm always interested to see how that goes, especially, I want to make sure he uses the right pronouns. And I'm like, am I going to pass? Am I going to not? It's just kind of a crapshoot because sometimes I pass really well. And sometimes people are a little more intuitive. So we'll see what happens with this reporter this afternoon. And we'll see if I have to, request some pronouns. So I'll let you know what happens with that. I think it's kind of amusing. But once the story's out, it should not only be in the paper, but it'll be on the paper's website. So I can put the link up there if you guys want to read about it a little bit. Anyway, so my general thoughts about work. This is how I dress every day. Pretty much a button-down shirt and a tie. And I've never had a problem with it. And, even before I was actually identifying as trans, this is how I dressed. When I identified as, butch, I was using my chosen name of Graham, but the pronoun she. And I think that, it's weird. I've always been a tomboy, always, never liked girly stuff. And I can just see my progression from when I was a little kid to now and working towards that trans identity. But it's just interesting to me because I think people would look at me more oddly than they do if I showed up to work one day in, feminine stuff, because it's just so not who I am. So it's interesting to see how people react to that. And it's also interesting, a lot of the guys that I speak with, they lived the kind of either straight female life or lesbian and, did everything they could to overcome their feelings of being genderqueer or trans and kind of going to that opposite end of hyper-femininity. And I never did that. I just couldn't. And I just always hated it. So it's something that I think ever since, I was old enough to know what I wanted to wear, I've been dressing like I do. And it's never been something where I tried to wear dresses or skirts or more feminine, traditionally feminine articles of clothing to pass. So it's interesting for me because, my presentation hasn't changed at all. What I'm doing is I'm going from identifying as, transgendered butch dyke to guy, or trans guy. And that leads me to this whole other set of questions about being gay and being lesbian, which I don't really like that word, but being a dyke. And I don't really know that I want to be perceived as straight. I don't have anything against straight people, but for me, I think I just prefer the term queer. And so all of this kind of gender roles and gender presentation and all of that is wrapped up for me because um, I realize that, my partner is very femme, and when we're out together, we're going to be perceived most likely as straight as I get further along in my transition. And it doesn't bother her because she's been perceived as straight since day one, and she just doesn't really care on what other people think. It's probably actually helpful for her because she works in the education system. She's an elementary school teacher, but she's also looking for principal opportunities because she just finished up her administration certificate. So I can see where being perceived as straight would definitely, not be something that she would worry about too much because it probably helps her. Especially in the educational, public education environment. For me, it's always just been a part of my identity that just, queer, dyke. And I don't know what to do with that. And thinking about it a lot lately. And it's not like I'm really connected to the lesbian community here, but I do feel connected to queer, and I don't want to lose that. So I think that's part of why I don't want to be perceived, and I won't identify as a straight man. I think that I'm also one of those guys that, I don't know that I want to be 100% stealth. I mean, I can see that it has its advantages, but I also think that there's a lot of room in gender and gender fluidity, and, maybe somewhere in there I'll find something that fits. I think even though I'm transitioning, I still feel kind of like an other. And, there isn't a nice little box that will fit me. But maybe those views will change as I get further along into my transition. We'll have to see. So that's just some food for thought for this morning. And I'm going to sign off because I'm already late for work and should get the heck out of here. So I'll let you know how the interview goes with the reporter. And everybody have a good day. Thanks for watching.